All right, y'all. Friday night Smackdown review for October 21st, 2022. A very segment heavy edition of Smackdown tonight. A lot of segments in the back. All right, so let's get to it. First match, we got Sheamus, accompanied of the ring by Brawling Brutes against Solo Sikoa, accompanied of the ring by the Usos and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn hits Sheamus hits a clothesline. Sikoa hits a spinning heel kick. Sheamus hits another clothesline. Sheamus drops the white noise on Sikoa for a 2 count. Solo hit a Samoan drop from the second rope for a near fall. And the Usos super kicked both members of the Brawling Brutes over the announce table. And then both Jay and Jimmy, they took the announce table over onto the Brawling Brutes. And then Solo hit the spinning solo for the win. After the match, they throw Sheamus out of the ring. And then Jimmy's got Sheamus's chair in the arm, or his arm in the chair. And then they're pretty much just holding him down, everybody. And then Jey Uso grabs another chair and he just hits Sheamus's arm like a multiple times, about 4 or 5 times. And then later in the show, they said he's got a fracture in his elbow or his arm. So this is pretty much a storyline injury. So Sheamus is probably going to be out for a while. Probably be back before Survivor Series, maybe. So we'll see what happens. All right, next up, there was a segment in the back with Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and Rey Mysterio. Ludwig Kaiser says Rey thinks he stands a chance against Gunther. And then Ludwig says, this is going to be the end for you. Rey says, this isn't the end of anything. This is a new beginning for me. I would say this to Gunther's face. And then Rey challenges one of them to a match, and Ludwig Kaiser accepts. And we got another segment, another segment in the back with Bray Wyatt. Bray apologizes for last week. Says he didn't get to finish what he was saying. Sorry about that. So Bray apologizes for last week. Says he didn't get to finish what he was saying. And he says revenge is a confession of pain. He says he feels, I feel confessing some things could help. Confesses that he has problems, always had problems. He says a few problems like anger. He gets chances most people don't get. He was happy being left alone. Says he needed all of you. He's talking about the fans now. And then he says, you guys pulled the spears out of my ribs. Told me what I was supposed to do without having to tell me. He is thankful for that. Now I can see, he says. I know who you are. I know what you want. I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work. On this journey, I'm going to do horrible things, but I will never feel sorry for them. I am a servant now. I go where the circle takes me. I think the part where was he talking about the fans, I think. Says like Ray says, I know who you are. I don't know if he's talking about the fans or somebody else. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. All right, we got another segment in the back with the Bloodline this time. They're celebrating what they did to Sheamus. And then Sami says to Sikoa, you have been a gem since you have come on board. You sent a message to not only Sheamus, but the entire locker room. Our work is done here tonight. And then Jey Uso says, what do you mean tonight? Just getting started. As soon as Logan Paul get here, we're going to get him too. And then Sami says Roman told him not to engage Logan Paul at all. The last thing we want Logan to think is that he is in our heads. And then Jey Uso says, you're right. I am a hothead. And then he got pissed off and he said, so we're just going to have to see by the end of the night what really happens. And it's pretty obvious he's going to interfere with the Paul Logan. All right, next up we got Liv Morgan, Sonya Deville. So throughout this match, every time Sonya had like a chokehold on Liv or like punching Liv or any kind of pain, she was like laughing and smiling and shit. So pretty obvious she's turned into Harley Quinn or the Joker or whatever. So this match ends on a double count out. After the match, Liv threw a bunch of chairs in the ring. And then she superplexed Sonya onto the chairs. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. And then we had next up face off in the ring between Braun Strowman and Omos. Braun comes out to the ring. He heard MVP running his mouth, calls out Omos. MVP is the only one that comes out. And then MVP says, "At no point have I referred to you anything less than a monster of a man. Always been, or you've always been the biggest kid in the playground, the locker room, as until last week. 7'3", 400-pound giant Omos. You would represent yourself as the monster of all monsters, and the fans believe that. If you want to maintain that, I strongly advise you to stay away from Omos, because once the WWE fans see you face to face with a literal giant, then you're exposed." And Braun says, "I don't need your advice." And Braun challenges Omos, and then MVP accepts on Omos's behalf. And then Omos comes out, and then they have the stare down. Omos pushes Braun out of the ring. That's pretty much it for that segment. Braun Strowman's like a big guy, and him looking up. He's always looked down at everybody, whoever he faces. But I think this is the first time he's looking up at an opponent. That's new, I guess. I don't know. We got another segment in the back with Drew McIntyre. He says at Extreme Rules, Karrion Kross pushed me to my breaking point. He was called to WWE headquarters. They had some uncomfortable conversations. If he and Kross start throwing punches, there will be severe consequences. They all agree this thing has to end at Crown Jewel in a steel cage. So it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross cage match at Crown Jewel. It should be a good match, I guess. All right, next up, we got Damage Control for Shotzi and Raquel Rodriguez for the tag titles. Shotzi had a drop kick. Dakota on Raquel's shoulders for a 2 count. And Raquel Rodriguez gets a tag. She hits 2 fallaway slams on both Dakota Kai and Io Sky. And then Sky hit a DDT on Raquel from the top rope for a near fall. And then Sky hit a moonsault on Shotzi for the win. Next up, we got Ray versus Ludwig Kaiser, Company of the Ring by Vinci and Gunther. Ludwig hit an uppercut on Ray outside the ring, back from the break. Ray hit a senton and a crossbody for a 2 count. And Ray hit a springboard moonsault for a near fall. And then Ray hit a Hurricane Rana off top rope for a 2 count. And then Ray went for a dive off the apron. Ludwig Kaiser moves out of the way, and then Ray goes into the barricade. And then Ray grabbed a chair and he threw it at Gunther. And then Ray fell down and Gunther slammed the chair down. And then the ref caught all this, so he thought Gunther hit Ray with the chair. So Rey Mysterio pretty much just pulled Eddie Guerrero here from his friend. And the ref tosses Giovanni Vinci and Gunther out of the from ringside and send them to the back. And then Ray hit the 619 and he dropped dime for the win. Solid match, I guess. We'll probably have I think fighting at Crown Jewel or on Smackdown for the Intercontinental title, Ray and Gunther. I don't know, we'll find out. All right, so next up was a segment with Logan Paul. It was pretty much a short segment. He was talking for a few minutes, and then Jey Uso came out. He attacked Logan Paul, and then Sami Zayn comes out. He tells Jey, "You can't do this. This isn't coming from me. It's coming from the tribal chief, Roman Reigns." Looks like Jey is gonna. Hold up. And then, so Jey attacked Logan Paul. Sami Zayn tells Jey, "You can't do this. This isn't coming from me. It's coming from Roman." Looks like Jey is going to leave. And then he tries to attack Logan Paul again. And then Logan punches him. So, yeah, next week Roman should be back. And then, yeah, he's probably going to be pissed off that Jey didn't listen to him. And then last thing was there was another vignette, weird creepy vignette for Bray Wyatt, and then this popped up was the main thing from it. Person it's called Uncle Howdy. I don't know what the hell is going on with the storyline, but we'll find out probably in a few more weeks. And then there was also a QR code during this vignette. And if you scan the QR code, this pops up. It's a psychological report evaluation on Bray Wyatt. Shows his date of birth up there. And then does he refuse to sign? And then he had difficulty showing remorse or empathy, conflict with social norms, disregarding of violating the rights of others. So he's pretty much like a psycho. I don't know. And then up top right, that's a phone number. If you dial that phone number, there's a message on it if you call it, and the message says, who knows, not me, we never lost control. So just another weird creepy message or something. I don't know. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for SmackDown. All right, see you guys.